I think great leaders lead from the front. I think that it's not just about telling people what to do. I think it's about showing people what to do. And doing that really on a daily basis. It's something you have to continuously do. So lead from the front, kind of a Patton-esque type theory. I think a lot of people really buy into that. It's one thing to sit back and be a director and to kind of move things around, but I think in our business, and specifically the retail automotive business, you really have to lead from the front. When you show somebody how to do something and you do it over and over again, you get that buy-in, and I think that's where people really want to follow somebody, and that's where true leadership is. Yeah, of course. I think that all of the guys on our team, we all sell equally. Even our regional vice presidents, all the way to me as one of the partners. We all equally work as hard, if not harder. So I think it's about setting that benchmark, and it's also really about team. We're really team-oriented. I think a lot of people talk about team, but I think you really have to institute that where you have a buddy system, for instance, and I'll reassign a buddy to each salesperson every 6 months. So that they get to know everything about that person. They get to know their family, they get to know their kids, they get to know what they grew up, how their household is, their mom, their dad. And when you start to know somebody on that personal level, you really work together as a team, and I think that's very, very important. I think everybody faces challenges constantly, and one of the challenges that's easy to do is success. Success can be one of the biggest challenges ever. And not saying I was very successful, but I certainly thought I was at one point. And what ends up happening is you stop learning. You think you know everything that's going on, and before you know it, everything's passed you by. So I got great advice one time, and that person told me to never believe your own hype and to never listen to your own band and to constantly think of yourself as the underdog. And if you do that, you'll constantly learn and you'll constantly go out and do new things, and you'll never get overhyped by yourself. That's the biggest thing that I learned in the challenge. Make sure that you learn those tools yourself. I see too many leaders or directors that go out and they implement things, but they don't know the in-depth of whatever they're actually implementing. They know the theories behind it, but they may not know, specifically in our business on the software side, how to actually use it. So for me, whenever we roll something out, I learn it from soup to nuts all the way through, and I become a subject matter expert on it. And I think at that point, then my people understand how important it is to be subject matter experts themselves. Because if you can't inspect it, then you can't expect it to be done. So always being able to go back and manage that. And if you know everything about that product or that rollout or whatever is new, then people have a hard time questioning you on it, and they're going to follow suit pretty well. It's really about daily experience. Our training is a little bit different from the standpoint of most of our people that run through our sales team come up through our training and install team. So for us, it's about similar in the car dealership world, where you start as a salesperson, then you may move to F&I, and then you may move to the desk, and then eventually a general sales manager, etc. In other words, we expect everybody in our company to know every level, and even myself, I installed over 250 of our CRMs when I first started in this company. So our belief is if you start at the bottom and you work your way through every single department, you'll have a great working knowledge of everything that's going on, and you can truly be an asset to the company. The more you know, the more valuable you are. So each of our guys that gets to that level, that pinnacle, now understands every facet of the different parts of our company, and it's really easy for them to get that buy-in or to convey that new company message or to convey whatever the new theme is and to carry it out, which is the most important thing. Most important factor in a dynamic team is always going to be people. I think that's used probably very loosely. And when I say people, it's about character. It's about what are their inherent characteristics they already have. And what you can't do is expect to change somebody. If they have the inherent characters that you're looking for that fit your culture, then you've already won the battle. You can teach all the other aspects, but are they somebody that works hard? And when I say work hard, do they work long until it gets done? I don't need somebody to work 20 hours. I need somebody to work enough hours to get the job done and get it done right, and I need them to be self-motivated. This is somebody that gets up in the morning and they don't need somebody to tell them what to do, how to do it. If those inherent characteristics are already there, you can teach them the skills of everything else. So I think that's probably the biggest thing of a dynamic team, is really starting with the people, make sure that they have the quality that you want to be surrounded by, and I think you achieve success when you finally have people that you want to work with surrounding you. Next 5 years, I feel like the next 5 years already started. We're already at, everything is mobile. I think it's not just about marketing and mobile. I think it's about information and communication in the way that a consumer wants to take it. So mobile's certainly that way. If you look at millennials, I think that's going to be a real key factor. Certainly they're at the point now where they look at email as being an antiquated process, much like we look at the post office as being antiquated. So I think you have to get text. I think there'll be new forms of communication, multi-channel communication, phone, text, email, digitally providing as much information as possible in the quickest manner as possible and in the form that the customer wants. So really the short answer would be finding out how the customer wants to be communicated with and then executing on it. Older salespeople versus younger salesperson, what they can teach. I think older salespeople still have, and I'll use the term mature salespeople, have the ability to still go back to the basics. Whether it's they'll always be closing, but this is still a face-to-face business. The enthusiasm of sales, I think that's something that the younger generation hasn't grasped yet. They're all about information, and they're all about technical, and they're all about all the sizzle of what technology can bring to the sales process, which is what they can help with the mature salespeople. I think there's a great synergy that can happen there when we combine the basics and the old belly-to-belly sales with the enthusiasm, the product demonstration, and getting that enthusiasm and that passion into the sales process, mixed with the newer generation's technology and delivering that. I think that's going to be where the great synergy is. My bills, when I have bills. Now, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is something you have to develop every day, and I think you develop that in what you do. If you're not happy in what you're doing, you're never going to be enthusiastic. And furthermore, if you are, it's not going to be genuine and it won't be authentic. You need to find that authentic thing in your life that's going to make you happy. For me, it's helping other people, and I sincerely mean that, because I know that if I help all the people around me, then I'm just naturally going to get better. And that's actually very selfish. It doesn't seem that way, but I know the more that everybody else can do and the more success that they find, the more success that I'll find. So enthusiasm for me comes from trying to find ways that I can support anybody around me, that they can get to the best level that they possibly can, and hopefully someday they can repay it back, or I can get a favor from them. Learn everything. Don't listen to anybody and learn everything. So the veteran's going to tell you all kinds of things that will destroy you. They'll try to steal that enthusiasm from you, and that happens with most salespeople in the first 90 days. So I would say bottle up that enthusiasm that you got the first day you came into our business and sales, and remember to go back to that bottle and suck off it all of the time, because if you learn about it, if you stay passionate, then you will have everything else that comes with it. So constantly be learning. Always be learning something new. Never forget the things that you've learned. Constantly revisit it, but never ever think that you have all of it all put together. You have to constantly learn.